So this is the VFR800 that I've just finished restoring. I've done 128 kilometres on it since I finished. Easy, dog. They've come up really well, I'm really pleased with it. The Michelin Road 6s are great, although I've done bugger all riding on it, of course. Hey, it's alright. So the VFR got, these are the original master cylinders for the brakes and the clutch, but I've had them powder coated in satin black, and I've replaced the windows because they were all cracked and yellowed. Got hell braided lines for the clutch and the whole brake system. I've left the original brake system on it, the dual combined braking system. I actually quite like it. And I've rebuilt the calipers, new stainless pistons, new seals for all the calipers, master cylinders rebuilt, put kits through them. New wheel bearings, new swing arm bearings, new seals. Pardon me, I've replaced the condom mirrors with the later model 2000 model mirrors. They're genuine OEM. Couldn't find a genuine screen. The original screen was routed, but I've just put an aftermarket screen on it for now. If I see a genuine one pop up for sale, I'll pick it up. All the paintwork is original. I've polished it all, so I've removed any kind of swirls that were in the paint. So I've cut it. Honda paint's really thin, you've got to be a bit careful. But I've cut it, I've polished it, and I've ceramic coated it. And these brake and clutch levers are aftermarket. They're white levers. Not entirely happy with them. I mean, they're functional, but I'm going to... the original levers are not damaged, they're just corroded. So I will put them in my blast cabinet and blast those, and then polish them up and then put them back on the bike. I removed the exhaust, the headers, and had them ceramic coated with Cerakote in satin black, because the headers on, this is a 98 model, the 98 and the 99 model just have, I believe they're mild steel, they're certainly not stainless headers, and they're desirable headers on this bike because they're a little bit larger than the later model 2000 and 2001 headers, and they don't have oxygen sensors, and this exhaust system doesn't have catalytic converter either. So I wanted to preserve what I had for this bike, because these are original kilometres, 50,743 kilometres on the clock. I bought this bike at auction, and it was a one owner bike, and the fella that owned it had passed away, so it was a deceased estate. The bike was in pretty ordinary condition when I bought it. It was very, there was a lot of corrosion on all of the aluminium parts. So I stripped it down to just the engine in the frame. That was it. Everything else was removed, and I cleaned everything up. I sandblasted a lot of the aluminium parts with a glass bead, and it brought them up like new. very happy with the way they turned out. Anything that needed to be replaced, I replaced. Like things like, and this is really minor stuff, things like the fuel overflow underneath the tank. They get hard, the rubber goes hard. So I've replaced those, all of those hoses. The breather and the return hoses, I've replaced them with OEM hoses. That's important to me. I wanted them OEM. So they're all replaced, things like that, you know. This bike got OEM where I could get it. It actually had a standard OEM muffler on it, but I've got two other VFR800s, which I'm restoring, and I have, the pipe on this one is actually a mid-mount stone tune, and I also have a high-mount stone tune. So I'm keeping both of those stone tune pipes, and when I finish restoring the other two, they will have Delcovic pipes on them. Brand new. I'll buy brand new mid-mount stainless Delcovic pipes for it. Just because I want to keep the stone tunes, you can't get them anymore. But I'm really pleased with the way this bike rides. Brakes are fantastic. I've got, you know, OEM pads, all new. I dumped the oil, like I did an oil change before I rode it. I rode it for 100 k's, then I dumped the oil and put new oil and filter again, so just to cleanse the system. You know, I've had the switch blocks apart, they're all cleaned and re-greased. The front forks were quite badly rusted, the stanchions on the front forks, so when I pulled those apart to rebuild them, I sent the tubes off and had them re-chromed. Wasn't cheap, paid 560 Australian dollars to have them re-chromed, but put them all back together, OEM seals, and they're spot on. They're just beautiful. I had the lowers powder coated in a sparkle silver to mimic the original coating, just because they cop a heap of you know, road debris when you ride. Gotta love that V4 fair income. Just gonna drop into the Honda shop because I need to get a couple of filters for my other VFRs. One of the things I don't like about these white sleevers is I reckon there's the little clutch switch doesn't, the little tang on the lever doesn't engage the switch properly. I did try and adjust it, but let's just see if it'll start in gear. No, see, the lever doesn't turn the switch off or engage the switch to allow it to be started. Put the goggles back on. Dugger. had the snorkel out of the airbox, but it was a little bit rowdy on induction. You can still hear the induction, no problem, but I put it back on. Headlights are working, I can see them in the back of the Tiguan there. So in the belly of the motor, it was, you know, like I said, all the aluminium was quite corroded, but I cleaned all that up with some, I think it was called albiet. It's on one of the other videos that I posted, but it worked really well because I didn't obviously take the motor out of the frame and sandblast it. Had the, you know, thermostat out. Thermostat was actually fine, there was nothing wrong with it, but I replaced the thermostat gasket and O-ring. I had the water pump out and that was immaculate, so I just replaced the O-rings to put it all back together. I put a completely new clutch slave cylinder on it because that was pretty, is it corroded? I don't think it's corroded, but it was really, you know, because it had been sat for so long and it attracted moisture and it was just really grubby. I did try and clean up the bore and put a kit in it, but it wasn't a smooth action, so I just pulled the whole lot off and replaced it with a brand new OEM slave. Even things down to the, you know, when you're draining the coolant, you remove the drain screw from the water pump cover, pardon me, and you remove the drain screw from the front of cylinder 2 at the front, down there. You know, when I put it all back together, I bought the original bloody copper washers to reseal them. Now, they're only a couple of dollars, and people will probably laugh, but, you know, that's how Mr. Honda intended it. I replaced the handlebar grips, both sides, so that's got a new throttle tube as well. It was like an extra $5 or something to buy the tube with the grip on the right hand side, on the throttle side, rather than just the grip, so that was a no-brainer. Gee, it rides nice though, it's so smooth. It's actually a lot nicer to ride than my 750. I do like the 750 because it's got carbies though. It is a little bit temperamental. And I have had the carbies apart twice on the 750. Because I originally replaced all the brass work in the carbies with aftermarket stuff, and I ended up cleaning up the original, you know, jets and putting all that back in, and I reckon it made a difference. But I had the throttle bodies off this one, cleaned them up. You got to be very careful with the throttle bodies because they've got, I believe it's Nickel coating on the throats, so you can't use commercial carby cleaner on them. But you know, they cleaned up really well. And I've even, actually, I'm still using the original rubber inlet boots on this. They were okay, but you know, geez, it's 20, well, how old, this is a 98 model, so it's 26 years old, and they're still alright. But, you know, it's done hardly any work, but you would expect the rubber to go off over that sort of time. This bike compared to the 750 is just so much smoother. The 750 is more, you know, a bit grumpier, I guess you'd say. Might go out here and have a bit of a look out towards the breakwater. Another fellow enthusiast out for a ride, just went past. A couple I just rode past, the guy was just full on staring at the bike, and it's a beautiful bike, it really is. I love the yellow. I've still got the original brochure because I was to buy a yellow one. I was going to buy one brand new, but I was involved in a really bad motorbike accident on the 750. I had a, I think they're called Lapaz Blue, 96 VFR800Fi. That only had about 15,000 Ks on it when I smashed it, but I had a really bad accident, broke my neck and shoulder and pelvis, and they reckon I wasn't going to walk again. What's this guy doing? He doesn't have a clue what he's doing, so I'm going to go. Yeah, it took me a year to rehab after that. And oh yeah, so what I was saying is I never got the chance to buy one because I was recovering from my injuries, and then I got into cars. I spent my money on cars for a while, and yeah, I'm just glad I was able to buy this bike and restore it, because it was my dream at the time, and I'm so happy that I've got it.